Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. Today I'm going to give you the secret to heaven on earth and to allow you to stop hell on earth. The secret is called awareness. Not thinking, not planning, but just being aware of what is truth unfolding in the eternal moment of now. If you live in your time-bound mind, your intellect, you're living in the past. You're living in the satanically ruled intellect, based in conditioning. And what are you conditioned of? Illusions. Thoughts, ideas, myths, fairy tales, legends, storytelling. History, for example, is nothing more than storytelling. It occupies the intellectual, dead, past, memory-based mind. It does not exist now, in this moment. What exists now, in this very moment, is truth. What is? And it's not defined. It's an energy. When you define the energy, you are already in the intellect, the past, the dead intellect. You're part of the living dead. You've heard of Jesus of Nazareth, and he was said to have raised the living dead. Do you understand? Although the living part was missing from the scriptures, and so he was said to have raised the dead. All he did was to raise the living dead who were conditioned to be that way, for they were robotic in their thinking. They believed in the illusions that were taught to them and were reinforced into them. And so that became their illusory life. Since the beginning of time, that has been the case with living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural women, men and women. Understand? They were made into believers, and believers converted them into dead entities, called persons now in our modern day language. They're illusions, they're fictions, created by fictional governments, fictional religions. These are all institutions that are based in thought. Therefore, they are dead. The world of thought is a dead world. And you live in it. It starts with birth. It ends with death. Do you understand? That which is limited, such as beginning with birth and ending in death, cannot be truth. For truth is eternal. Truth is what is. Truth is God. And that can only be accessed by the subconscious mind. I speak a great deal about the two minds that we have. The subconscious mind of non-duality, of what is, of truth, of God, of creation. And I speak of the dualistic intellect, the mind of what should be, the mind of illusion, the mind of created thought, adherence to that thought, being bound by the beliefs of that thought. Religions and countries are all satanic institutions. Understand? Governments, I should say, are satanic institutions based on words. The Bible says it in Genesis. In the beginning, there was the Word. That was the beginning of the enslavement of living men who were made to be civilized, who were made to doubt themselves. You see, in the subconscious mind, what is? All there is truth. The non-duality of what is. That's God. Now, what am I saying here? I'm saying that when you are in your subconscious mind, you are the what is. You are the creator. You are the God. Understand? When one leaves that realm of the subconscious mind, which has been talked about in storytelling as the Garden of Eden, one entered into the realm of sin, of duality, of contradiction, of split, separate, divisive ideas, of confusion. Now, another word for that would be civilized, because you're adhering to dead words, dead concepts, dead beliefs. That makes you the living dead. That makes you a person. And a person you are. When you believe a government, a fictional government, that declares you to be, by its own creation of a word, person, you're no longer whole. You're no longer complete. You are confused. You are split. What enters into the situation is a crazy world, an insane world, a world of confusion, a world of conflict, contradiction. That's a civilized world. We call the primitives savages. Understand? A primitive man is a holistic man, a man who lives more in instinct, non-dualism, than in dualism, intellectualism. And so the intellectual looks down his nose at the primitive and calls him savage. And savage is a dualistic word. It indicates an entity that is divided, that is not quite complete, and therefore they are to be feared. What intellectuals fear the most is the fact of that oneness, that wholeness, that completeness, the love. Intellectuals can't deal with love. They deal with their own constructed idea of love. And they mistake that for the non-dualistic love that is. And so they live a world of illusion. They contribute to that world of illusion. And they forget that they, truly, in their subconscious mind, they are the truth, the life, and the way, all of which are non-dualistic. Understand? So, civilized world is satanic. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. The report card is easily seen with the wars we have. The exploitation, the fraud, the arguments, the anger, frustration that is exhibited by those who are clearly, by their own consent, members of such civilized institutions, which are institutions of hell. Now, you're going to get angry at that. Why are you angry? You understand? You're angry because you're split. You're dualistic. You're reacting to a word. If I was not telling you the truth, the non-dualistic what is, you understand? You would not be angry. You would find some way of manipulating that to your own advantage, and you call that argument. Governments are made of that, to that nature. They argue, which means they're divided. They're confused. Everything they do is based in confusion. And if they are not clear, they will create a confused environment. And they do. And that has been the civilized world since the beginning of time. That's all you know. You are trained through history to believe in what is told you when you are a young child and not capable of grasping the truth yourself. So you believe. You're trained. You're educated. You're conditioned. You're cultured. All those things are satanic operations which divide and separate you and create conflict. You can't deny that because you have to understand that non-dualistically, there is just what is. All other accumulations to that factor are added onto it, and they are partial. Therefore, they are illusions. So I'm speaking to you, all of you, who live in an illusory world. And you're angered. In unison, you're angered at what this living Christ is telling you, because it doesn't fit in with your conditioning. And your conditioning is your view of life. And that view of life changes with each culture, which conditions you. Boundaries create countries. Do you understand? And those countries control people. How do they control them? Through mind control. Governments, which are products of the intellect, have no power over the non-intellect, the non-dual, subconscious mind, which is operating all the time. But one's attention, one's awareness is focused upon the dualistic intellect, which government and religions can control. And they control it with words. How many of you have a view of the world that is not based in your prior conditioning? And so you see the world as you have been trained to see it. That's how you are thrust into hell and kept there as slaves, obedient slaves, to carry out the wishes of the master, who controls your mindset through the means of media and government and religion and banks and corporations. All of these are illusory institutions that have no basis in truth. They're all fictions, each and every one of them, without exceptions. And those of you who give your allegiance to those fictions, a government employee, a religious believer, a corporate employee, you're all beholding to your own concept of illusion. And you're in pain most of the time. You suffer with the conflicts that are going on everlastingly within you because you cannot escape your intellect. You have been mind controlled. Well, now's your chance. Before the financial system created by satanic authority collapses, before they pull the rug out from under you, because it's your money that's at stake, and you have consensually given it to them. How dumb is that? That you are controlled by your own thoughts, your own illusions. And these people, these men and women who take the position of leaders in a society of the blind and the dead, gain great power, become millionaires. Hell, look at your Congress. Before they went into office, and whether or not they maintained that status while they were in office, or did they become millionaires? And where did those millions come from? You understand? Certainly not from their salaries. What the hell is wrong with you people? You, if you are aware, are the God of your life. You are the creator of your life. You create the quality of your life. And you are responsible for it. Yet you seek to evade responsibility by blaming. You can only blame a dualistic intellect. There is the you, and there is that which you seek to blame. You understand? That's an illusion. If you create your life by the actions you take, and those actions are preceded by the beliefs that you hold without knowing whether or not those beliefs are true, factual, holistic, holy, you're a Satanist. You're a Satanist ruled by other Satanists. And the whole civilized world that you know of is satanic. Wow, what a statement to make, and I stand by it. And you won't like it one bit. You will seek to destroy this voice. But you can't argue it. My life is testimony to that fact. I'm 82, and my life, actions, are at one with my words. And you can test that out by visiting my website, arkenterprises.com, and lisarayenterprises.com, and searching through the search engines on the internet. Oh, you're going to find a lot of dirt thrown my way by others who will lie about this living man, who will create false biographies, who will declare him to be a criminal. No such thing. I have backed down the courts Oregon. Twice. When they tried to convict this living man of lies. And they actually convicted their own created person, which is not a living man, which is not me, but they tried to link that person with this living man. And I refused to agree to it, to contract. For if I had contracted, I would have contracted with Satan. And I would be thrust into the hell which Satan rules. Now, I've talked about this now for 17 years, 25 years altogether on the internet, and you still don't accept the truth of that matter. I'm free. They tried to put me in prison for 40 years with these convictions. I simply refused to accept their sentence. What could they do? They backed down. I call their bluff. Unfortunately, our prisons are full of people who didn't call their bluff. They were caught up in language. They were not educated to the level of the word-twisting lawyers and judges who create the legal system, which is clearly satanic, for it is dualistic in nature, based in concepts, based in ideas, all illusion. But that's the world you all you civilized men and women live in. And when a living man, a man of truth, a simple man of truth, a Christ, speaks to you, you think he's a phony. There's only one Christ. That's a concept that you hold. And you've been trained to believe that at a very early age, and it's been reinforced through your culture, through your media. Almost daily, you are being reinforced. That's called hypnosis. You're suggestible, and that suggestion is repeated until it becomes, to you, the truth. That's what religions are. They're phony illusions, and you're all caught by it. Hell, isn't it? What are you going to do about it?